Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Laz, and I have a new hat. This is actually the Serbian national hat because I'm Serbian. It usually comes in green, but this one is black, and the green one that I have is much thicker, and because it's summer outside, I don't really wear this outside. I don't wear any hats on. But for the sake of this video, it's my video and I can do whatever I want, really. Today we're gonna talk about Akira, which is the granddaddy of them all. The anime that brought mainstream success and created weeaboos and created all of the things that we have today in relation to anime. As you know, before we can get into that, only a small percentage of people who actually watch my videos are subscribed. If you want to help me rectify that, just go ahead and subscribe. It means a lot and it's free. You can always unsubscribe later and you're helping the channel grow. And of course, after that, you can like the video because it helps worship the gods of Google and let them know that my video is worth watching. And also, don't forget to comment down below because comments, man, comments. So you're helping me out and giving me the willpower to make more videos. Also, there are links to my socials and my Patreon account if you want to help me out, like the lovely fellows that already do, like Eldon and D-Rain. And without further ado, Akira is a movie that was made in the late 80s. And as I said earlier, it was one of the movies that spawned the whole anime fad that we still enjoy today. It's not really a fad, it's like it brought recognition for anime. Anime has been around for a long time before that, starting with Astro Boy, which was basically right after World War II. But this is what brought it to the West for us Europeans and for our friends in America and everywhere else who watches anime. This is what put anime on the map. And for good reason too. It's actually a really, really good anime movie, and I believe everybody should watch it to see what created all of this that we have today when it comes to anime. As always, I'm gonna structure this in my usual way. We're gonna go through the story, visuals, and audio. So first, let's go through the story. The story follows a group of basically young adults who have a biker gang, and they are all friends since childhood because they grew up at this weird-ass homeless school orphanage thing. I don't even know how to classify it. It's kind of weird. We don't really know how old the kids are. They look like kids. They're basically kids. I'm gonna call them kids. Don't argue with me. Don't argue with me. I don't care how old they are. They're kids. They have this argument with another biker gang called the Clowns. So they're constantly fighting against them. In one of those kind of brawls, this guy almost hits a kid. This zombie-looking motherfucker, right? This zombie-looking kid. And that's when the show really begins. Without spoiling too much, I'm gonna try to avoid spoilers. It's not about biker gangs, okay? The biker gangs are just like a way to show the bond between the characters, basically to show their status in society, right? Meanwhile, while all of this is going on, there is a power struggle for control of Neo Tokyo. And I forgot to mention that this whole anime takes place after World War III, and something that's very important and will be explained in the end actually triggered World War III. I'm not gonna get into that. You'll thank me later, just watch it. So something that happened in the end triggered World War III, and a lot of the places are destroyed. We don't really know much, if anything else, apart from Neo Tokyo from Japan got destroyed, but basically everybody that is pertinent to the story lives in Neo Tokyo. Capiche? Good. As I said, there is a big power struggle in Neo Tokyo where there are rebellious groups and there are other groups which I won't name, and they all have their problems. Meanwhile, the citizens of Neo Tokyo have to live the way they live. But everything pretty much works in order apart from that, so you can... I mean, what else do you expect from Japan? It's like, even after World War III, Japan is gonna get its shit together. It's just that type of country. So yeah, that's about all I will talk about the story. It has some quote-unquote supernatural elements. It's more like sci-fi than supernatural. You're gonna have to watch it because if I divulge even the tiniest bit of detail, my cat's gonna take a shit. You done? Okay. I'm not going to tell you anything apart from what I told you. I'm not going to go further into the story and those supernatural elements that I just mentioned, which are basically more like sci-fi than supernatural. But you know how they say, if a technology is far advanced enough, it can be understood as magic. I'm going to call it supernatural. That concludes the story part. We're going to get into the visuals now. The visuals, I'm going to categorize them into two elements, into two sides, because there's one thing that bothers me with the visuals, and I'll get into that in a second. But first, I'm gonna go for the background visuals, right? Background visuals. They are so good. They're so detailed, and the whole atmosphere that you get when watching this anime reminds me of the time when I was actually in Japan, cruising around Osaka in the middle of the night. It's very atmospheric. It looks very nice. It's beautiful, and definitely it helps the mood greatly. It sets the mood. It looks amazing. Just mwah, mwah. But the one gripe that I have with the whole anime movie and the whole graphics part is the characters. The characters look ugly. They look jumbled up. Their face looks like constricted, and it's too centered. It's like it's too jumbled up in the middle. I don't know how to explain it. I don't like it. The characters look ugly. I don't know. Even the love interests don't look appealing. I just don't like it. But tastes are like butts. Everybody has it. That's about for the visual side. It's very good looking if we disregard the characters. You have to look at it from the perspective of the time, because keep in mind this was made in the late 80s, meaning that they didn't have, they did have computers, but you couldn't really make anime with computers, right? This was most likely made using the traditional methods of making animation, which is animate by hand. Enjoy. I can't even imagine how long it must have taken to make that. But it worked. It looks gorgeous. The details. This is one thing. The details of those old animes, like old animes before CG, they're so lovely. Like the backgrounds, and sometimes the characters, for me, in my personal opinion, sometimes the characters look even better back then than they do now. They were unique, basically. Right now you have Lolly, you have the Gyaru, you have the I don't know what else you have like stereotypical looking character. Now we're gonna have riots because I said this. We're gonna have major issues because I said this. This is gonna be the Best Girl Wars 2.0. But yeah, of course I'm a human being and I do understand the value of Best Girl, but still it's different. It's different. I like the old anime style, maybe even more than the modern anime style, but I'm a weird dude. I wear a century-old hat. I mean, come on. The audio is something completely different. The audio is like a range. On one side you have really fantastic songs, and on the other hand you have shitty bullshit levels of something. I don't know, it's just like you have one song which is just like screeching, like I don't know. It depends. Akira has, based on the mood, the sound can be either gorgeous, a feast for the ears, or it can be an absolute torture for the ears and bullshit, right? The sound effects, I did notice that sometimes they just forget about them. Maybe this was intentional, maybe it wasn't, but there are times where they completely forget about the sound effects, but I don't think it's a big of a detriment. And one more thing, but this is my fault, not the fault of the anime. I actually accidentally grabbed the dubbed version, and even though the dub is good quality, it's just like I don't think they got the technique right. Again, most of the problems that I have with this anime is due to the technical limitations of the time. I don't think they got the skills back then to dub it correctly, because it's weird. It's like a dubbed porno. I don't know how it feels weird. I'm not a big fan of the dub. So if you're gonna watch it, if you didn't watch it, you should watch the subbed version if you can find it. In conclusion, the anime is fantastic. I loved it, and you have to understand it for what it is. It's probably a masterpiece of its time. It's something that's from a time gone by, with the techniques that we don't really use today. We use computers to make that stuff that they had to draw by hand. You have to take it for what it is. Otherwise, I've heard people say, "Oh, Akira, it's dated. I can't even watch it. I can't watch pre-CG anime." It's like, well, shut the fuck up. Don't be a fucking retard. You don't want. It's like graphic snobs. It's like video game graphic snobs. They're like, "Oh, I can't play this because the graphics are shit. I'm gonna play this modern game, and in 3 years' time, that modern game is gonna look like shit. And now what? You're gonna hate that too, even though you enjoyed it a lot? No, you're not. So don't be a graphic snob. Enjoy it for what it is. It is a lovely anime. It is a very thought-provoking anime. A little disclaimer, there is nudity, there are some anime titties in it, and some sections can be really fucking disgusting with their gore and shit. It's gross, I don't like it. I mean, I do, what am I talking about? But there are some sections which are really gory in a very disgusting anime way. So you have been warned. Overall, wonderful anime, very thought-provoking, very deep if you scrape beneath the surface. I think everybody should watch it before 2020 kills us all. Thank you so much, everybody. This is it for me. Of course, subscribe, hit the bell notification, it's very important. Like, comment down below, tell me how sexy my hat is. Of course, follow me on my socials, and if you want to, you can help me out on Patreon like this. It will really help me out a lot. It brings food to the table, trust me. And it gives me further incentive to make these videos. Not that I don't have enough incentive, but still, you know what. Thank you so much, everybody, and I'll see you next time.